Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was a Genius Experimenter. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto. Dream to surpass the gods on this channel and enjoy that guys. And also I post a brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Was an Outcast Uchiha in the Time of the Sanins. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Had Godly Red Lightning over on Anime King, so go ahead and enjoy that. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. Which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off, Orochimaru was furious. It turns out that Danzo up and just vanished from Konoha, as everyone is looking for him, but the elder could not be found nowhere they look. No matter how hard they look, he cannot be found. As Danzo was the one that interfered with his plans and kidnapped the One Tails. The child had not returned back to his home. That means Danzo was the one behind this. Orochimaru was furious at that, as he told Kabuto to have his spies make sure that they keep an eye out for Danzo. They cannot just leave a man like Danzo unoccupied. That man was a decrepit old fool, but he was also a dangerous decrepit old fool. So they had to make sure that he was watched at all times. So with that out of the way, they had another job regarding Tsunade. At the moment, Naruto was trying to learn the Rasengan as Tsunade watched him, unaware that that was a blood clone. The real Naruto was far away from here at the moment. He had things that he was doing at the moment. He was planning things perfectly. When the day finally came, Naruto injected Jiraiya to make sure that he was on tip-top of his game, so that things would work out rather well, as he had get the remnants of Snake when he entered the town, so he knew that Orochimaru was here. There was no disguising that. When the day finally came, Tsunade was caught up in her grief, as Naruto took a killing blow for her, as she realized he risked his life to die. Something inside her snapped as she went to heal the child, while throwing a fist towards Orochimaru to knock him back. Orochimaru and Kabuto used the opportunity to flee as Jiraiya went crazy. However, Naruto was able to recover though. Tsunade was grateful as Naruto woke up, necklace around his neck, as she agreed that she would come back to Konoha with them. Sooner, Naruto had contacted Orochimaru and Kabuto as he explained his means of plan. Orochimaru was dead set that Naruto needed to be watched, while so far he was proving his loyalty. Once he faked his death within Konoha, he needed to be watched. The Sound 4 was sent to Konoha, as they were brought directly to Naruto. They tried to give him lip, as Naruto showed them why they should not. He scared the living crap out of all of them, as they felt like they were in the midst of Orochimaru, or perhaps even worse. Teiwaya was frightened. So with that, he gave them their orders on what to do. When the day finally came, Naruto was dispatched with the team. However, Naruto had his lab moved. He has been doing this since he went on the mission with Tsunade. He already had a remote location where it would be perfect. He also subdued Unko. Unlike the others, he was not going to turn Unko into one of his mindless subordinates. He wanted her to be herself because, just like him, she was wronged by Konoha, and he can use it against her. He can use it very well. As he knocked her out for now, there was a rather tall man, as he took Anko's body and moved off with it. Meanwhile, the retrieval mission was, well, it was not a good one for the Konoha side, as they were severely defeated. The Zone 4 ended up retreating in the last moment, so none of the Zone 4 members got killed, as Naruto told Teiwai to go as Sasuke exploded from the coffin. As Naruto faced Sasuke head off, Sasuke was angry that Naruto was here. Out of all people, he didn't want to see him. Why did he have to be here? Naruto had become like a friend to him. Out of everyone else, Team 7 had become his little family, as Naruto had made sure that Sasuke had developed feelings of friendship towards him to make it even harder on him right here and now. Sasuke begged for him to just go back to the Hidden Leaf. They treat him like crap anyway, why? Why did he take it all? But Naruto refused, as he was gonna fight him, even if it cost his life. He was gonna make sure that Sasuke returned back to the village. However, Sasuke remembered his brother as they started to fight. Holding back severely, Naruto made it seem like Sasuke was the one ruling his fight, as Sasuke's Chidori tore through his Rasengan and drive through his heart. Sasuke collapsed as he saw Naruto's body being washed away by the river. As he stood there in absolute shock, he was dead. He killed him. He killed his best friend. Sasuke's eyes changed as he staggered back, but he ran off straight towards Land of Sound. As he just left, his mind whirling. However, he awakened something that will be greatly beneficial for him in the future. It took some time, but Kakashi finally arrived, and he found Naruto's headband, his shirt, drifting away in the water. The body had drifted off. Pakon could not smell it because the river had washed off the scent, but there was definitely Naruto's blood, alright. And with the amount of blood, Jinchuriki or not, he didn't survive that. Kakashi stood there, feeling regretful, mournful that he wasn't fast enough. He always paid more attention to Sasuke, and he knew that. It resulted in his link to the fourth Hokage cut severely. The man's son dying by the hands of a Uchiha who he taught. The retrieval team was quite shocked when they saw the belongings. Meanwhile that was going on, the real Naruto was a distance away. He had a smile on his face. Things went perfectly. They went perfectly. As he was beyond happy, he was thrilled with how things turned out, and not to mention, his recent session with the fox got him something that he desperately desired. The location of the Sage of the Sixth Path tomb. As Naruto grinned maniacally. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the basic of yourself, and when you say begin this new episode guys, everything was so hazy. She could not focus, as her eyes blinked in slow successions. It was then that she finally realized she was in some sort of prison, judging by the steel bars in front of her. As she felt strangely normal, there was no pain, no aches. As she was lying down on a bed, Uncle Mirashi slowly moved her hand over her face. That is when she noticed a needle in her arm. Her eyes widened as she ripped it out and threw it to the side. As she looked toward the strange medical equipment inside. As she slowly and groggily got to her feet. She almost fell back on the bed though. As she blinked a few times, her eyes focused into where she was. The place was barren. The only thing inside was a bed. There was a table with a lamp. And there was a door leading off to another room, to where she was not sure. She was not restrained. She was not chained up, except for that damn needle in her arm. She followed the said needle to see that it was giving her fluids. Basic medical providement. When someone was in the hospital and they were not able to eat or drink. As she racked her brain for what happened last, it then startled her as she remembered what happened. He revealed his true motives. She couldn't believe it. The sinister feeling that she got from him. She only felt that from one man, and that was that damn snake, Orochimaru. All this time, she thought that Naruto was her friend. She had let her guard down around him because he was just like her. He understood pain like her. The loss, the pain, the agony. He understood it just well. But it was all just an act, a game, to mess with her mind. As she slowly got to her feet, there was a window there. Bars on it. She reached up to touch it. She felt it, however. She wondered why would he leave this here. She could easily break out. With that, she proceeded to bring her hand up. However, she couldn't feel her chakra. What the hell? As she searched herself before she lifted her shirt up, there was a giant seal around her stomach that spread to her arms and legs. Whatever the seal was, it prevented her from feeling her chakra at all. She couldn't feel it. She cursed. The damn bastard sealed away her chakra. But that didn't mean that she was defenseless. It was then that she felt it. And she turned. All this time she didn't see him, but someone was standing there. Whoever this man was, he was very tall. His face was covered by a mask. The top of his head covered by a black bandana. Only thing that were visible were his eyes. His body was very muscular and tall. She wasn't sure who he was. He looked at her with his eyes seemingly empty. "Who the hell are you?" she asked. But he did not answer. "Hey, jackass! Freak of nature, I'm talking to you." But her taunts did not work. Uncle. I'm afraid that this is one that your taunts would not work on. Uncle froze. She heard that voice. You bastard. You're an enemy. A traitor. How can I be a traitor when I was not loyal to begin with? You bastard. When I get my hands on you. She was cut off as he walked forward. He pressed his hand on the bars. There was a keypad there, but there was no keypad or anything. It just shaped like one. He pressed his hand on it as his fingerprint seemed to trigger some kind of mechanism. It was then that he proceeded to open up the cell. Uncle was startled that he would just open it up like this. She was cautious not to move a single muscle as she looked down towards her stomach, but he then stepped in. "When you get your hands on me, exactly, what will you do?" Uncle studied every single point of him. He was not on guard. His body was lax. She moved as fast as her body could move in this state as she reached him within seconds because of the close proximity. She thrust her hand out, only for him to wrap his arm around hers and grabbed her, wrapping his arm around her waist. He then put his arm around her left arm and brought it down to her side. He pinned her in a rather close, intimate manner. Their bodies pressed against one another. As his forehead pressed against hers, he looked deep within her eyes. Uncle felt a shiver went down her spine. She was afraid. No, terrified. Those eyes. She thought they were just like Orochimaru, but they were worse. Look in them was one of a sick, twisted man. However, she could tell that he meant her no harm, for some reason. However, if he didn't mean her any harm, what does that mean for her? As she hadn't been afraid like this since she was captured by Orochimaru. Her entire body started to shake. However, he whispered in her ear, "There's no need to be afraid, Uncle. I won't harm a single ear on your head. You're safe as long as you're here. But I want you to realize, which you will sooner or later, that Konoha is the bad one. Because of what that snake did to you, they treat you like garbage. They threw you out. They act like you were a parasite. Treated you like a monster. What was it? The snake whore. The snake freak. The lackey. The parasite. Just like me, they tossed us aside of things that we had no control over. You were the victim, my dear," he said. "And yet, they threw you aside like you were complete garbage. And yet you still defend them. Why?" He detached himself from her and released her as she dropped towards the bed. Not being so close to him anymore, she was able to regain some of her bravado. "It doesn't matter what you say to me. I'll never join your side. He reached out as she trembled. Uncle wondered what the hell is happening to her. Why the hell is he so intimidating? Why was she so afraid of him? As he took her cheek and stroked it with his finger. In due time, darling. In due time. Her hand came up and slapped away his. I'll never be on your side, you monster. He turned his back and started to walk away. Seeing her chance, she leaped, only for the seal on her stomach and the seal on the bars glow. As she tried to leave, she was thrown back. She hit the wall rather roughly. She winced out in pain. He simply wagged his finger. Come on now, uncle, did you really believe it would be that easy? She frowned as she knew that something had to be up. He closed the cell behind him. Just relax, he said. You're going to be spending a lot of time here. You bastard. You think you can break me? How long do you think it will take until the Konoha ninjas found out that something is up? I mean, you're not going to be there, huh? Oh. I'm sorry, but you do not know that Naruto Uzumaki died 3 weeks ago. What? Yes. He was killed by his beloved teammate Sasuke Uchiha. The body was not found, however. Given the circumstances, there was just too much proof that he wasn't dead. All the blood, his torn clothing, the huge hole through his shirt. It was a tragic scene. Many in Konoha that know him wept. The ones that actually care though. And I can count them on 5 fingers. It's really and truly disappointed. And Uncle Mitarashi has been missing ever since. The only one that seemed to affect is Kurnai. And not even that much. Uncle lowered her head. Those words cut her rather deep. But still, he was just trying to break her. As she glared at him. What do you want, she said. What's kidnapping me gonna accomplish? He moved towards the bars. You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm actually alive. She was confused by that statement. I mean, like normal humans, empathy, emotions. I barely have those. I have this sick, twisting urge to laugh when people get injured, when people are suffering. I mean, that's just wrong, isn't it? I can stand here and rip a mother head off in front of their child, and I just wouldn't feel a thing. I wonder if I'm dead inside or what. The only thing that truly makes me feel alive is when I'm working, when I'm moving towards my goal. However, you, out of everyone else, you piqued my interest. At first I was gonna manipulate and use you. However, as time went by, more and more you start to awaken this feeling inside of me. I see you as someone I want at my side. I see how Konoha has wronged you. I see how the world has wronged you. And it's the first time I actually feel something for someone else other than myself. And that thought actually, well, it interests me. That is why I want you on my side, uncle. After all, if I wanted to. Naruto glanced back towards the man that was standing there. He hadn't said a word or moved since Naruto came in. I could have turned you just like that. Uncle shot her at the thought. As she tried to be brief, well, you might as well do that because I'll never listen to you or do anything for you. All this time I thought you were just a lost soul who I can help, but it turns out you're a monster. Oh darling, I'm much worse than that. But you want to hear something else? You want to know who I've been working with this entire time? Uncle gazed narrowed at that, as Naruto smirked. There's a lot you need to know, uncle, he said. I assure you, by the time I'm done explaining my true plans, we'll be good old pals, he said to her. Uncle has never been a shy or fearful person. Since what happened to her with Orochimaru, she put on a tough persona. However, in front of this child, who she once believed was a child, that persona was breaking away. There was just something about him that literally scared her to no end. To know that all this time that harmless attitude, behind that harmless look was a literal monster. Meanwhile, at Konoha, it was nighttime. A bottle of sake in hand as Tsunade Senju placed her feet on the Hokage's decks. The woman was quiet as she drank away. She had sent Shizune off. She just wanted to be alone. It has been 3 weeks since the death of Naruto. After all that blood, and his shirt and his headband, there was no way that he would have survived a direct wound like that, judging by the gaping hole in the shirt. She instantly placed Sasuke in the bingo book. She was tempted to let it be known that Naruto was the son of Minato and Kushina. However, letting the village found out that Naruto was the son of Minato right now would not be a good thing. Jiraiya told her. The man was grief-stricken as well. However, he was able to keep his cool long enough to talk to her. The village would literally tear itself apart if they found out about that. They had shunned their hero son for so long. But a part of her actually wanted the village to rip itself apart. For all that they put him through, she wanted to see them suffer. However, those thoughts were not fitting for a Hokage. And Naruto wouldn't want this. He believed in her. He threw himself in front of a sword to save her life, because he believed that she can be something good for Konoha. That was the only reason why she had not given up the job. And also Jiraiya insisted that she did not, pleading with her to do so. The village was in a critical state right now. Even Danzo Shimura had been gone missing. Uncle Midarashi, one of their kunoichi, had gone missing as well. She had to get her head on straight. She had to run the village in memory of him. At least, she had to seal away her emotions and work like a true dictator. She had to get this village back in the right state of mind to show the other nations that it was not weak. She was Tsunade Senju, granddaughter of Hoshirama Senju, grandniece of Tobirama Senju, two of the greatest Hokages. She would not allow this village to fall under her watch. She glanced up towards the heavens. I promise that to you, Naruto, she said. I'll do it for you, and all of those that believe in me to do this. As she thought about all of her precious people, Nawaki, Dan, Naruto, as she saw all of them looking down at her, with a smile on their face. She just needs to get her head on straight. She's been moping for 3 long weeks. It's time that she kicked back into gear. For one thing, she had to find that girl Sakura Haruno. The girl had been utterly broken. She had lost a teammate who had killed another. But a few days ago, the girl had came to her, begging her to train her. It seems she wanted to find Sasuke as much as Tsunade do. But for what reason? Tsunade did not know just yet. However, it did not seem to be a pleasant one. He killed her teammate after all, despite him being a former teammate as well. She seemed to actually care for Naruto. But she had shushed the girl away, saying that she didn't have time for that, because of her grief. But now, she realized she made a mistake. To nurture that young soul, which she will do. Time skip. Naruto stood in front of Orochimaru, who sat in his throne, as he just arrived. So, everything went well with Sasuke, I presume? Naruto asks. Yes, he's fitting in quite perfectly. And he truly believes that you're dead. And let's make sure it stays that way for a while, shall we? I want the world to believe it, not only him. Well, as far as I know, you're dead within the village. There's mixed reactions. Some are actually glad that you're dead. You can understand the reason why. Yes, those ungrateful bastards. Well, enough about them. I need some time. From what you told me, it will take a while for you to take Sasuke's body. I will be busy myself for those 3 years. Orochimaru nodded, yes, 3 years. So you will not see me for a while. That is the main reason why I call you here. To make sure we have a constant flow of connection between us. I want you to take someone with you. Who's that? One of my trusted subordinates. You're giving someone to me. Yes, to be by your side. To watch over and be a extra eyes and ears. We know that you don't have that much regarding manpower after all. Yes, that is quite true, said Naruto. And who is this person? Orochimaru pressed a button on his throne. A few seconds later, someone came in. She had blue hair. She was wearing a green cloak with a yellow obitator on her waist. It looked ropish. As Naruto narrowed his gaze towards her, and who might this be? This is my trusted subordinate. Her name is Gurin, a rather special person. Naruto somber up towards her. How so, he asks. Instantly, a crystal dagger formed in her hand, as she placed it right underneath his throat. This is how, she said. And I like my personal space, if you don't mind. As Naruto merely smiled. Those eyes. Gurin narrowed her gaze towards his. His eyes. Look in his eyes, they look so... She was broke from her thoughts when Naruto smiled more. Well, she seemed to have a splendid attitude. Well, if you don't mind, I'll take her. He's not giving me to you. I will be a means of communication between you and my lord. Don't forget that. Ah, a rather feisty one. I presume I should keep her safe. And vice versa, said Naruto. Of course. Gurin is a very precious person to me. Naruto noticed how Gurin lighted up when she heard that. Seems she is. Indeed she is. Well then, I'll take good care of her. There was something about this guy that was rubbing Gurin the wrong way. His eyes. That was the reason. There was just something off about him. However, she didn't say anything about it. Well then, it's been an honor. I've been grateful for the help so far, and I hope things can remain like this for the longest of times. After all, the both of us seek something that is far beyond our reach, yet so close. I pray that we both get there in due time. Well, it's only a matter of time, Orochimaru said. Remember now, Konoha ninjas are everywhere, so make your movement discreet. Wouldn't want you to be captured and interrogated, and for the ninjas to come back straight towards me. Oh, you don't have to worry. I would rather commit seppuku than allow them to find you and put you in any harm. After all, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be the man I am today. And for that I'm grateful, as he bowed his head respectfully. Gurin realized that he was being genuine. Or maybe she couldn't tell if he was lying or not, but from the way she was standing, it seemed like he was being absolutely genuine. He really respected Lord Orochimaru. Maybe he wasn't such a bad guy. Well then, I'll be taking my leave. The lovely Gurin, if you may. It's just Gurin, she said. Ah, Gurin, he said, if you may. As they left, Kabuto came in. He seemed to have been watching the whole thing. Are you sure it is wise to let Gurin go with him alone? I doubt that Naruto would do anything to her. Besides, he wants to get into my favor. As much as he wants his own path, he's grateful to me, to an extent that I can use to make him be a loyal subordinate. When the time is right, as the years go by, I will make sure that he's indebted to me so much that he is willing to give his own life to make sure I live. However, having him die would be a waste. He is proven to be quite resourceful. As Orochimaru smiled to himself. Time skip. From everything I've seen so far, this is actually a good hideout. You know, said Naruto, you made that sound like a compliment and disrespect at the same time. As Gurin simply shrugged her shoulders. But despite that, he merely smiled at her. There was something up with this guy that she just couldn't tell. Either he was genuinely respectful to Lord Orochimaru and showing that by being kind to her, or he was rather dangerous. She couldn't tell. However, being close to him, she could tell that he was not a normal person. Orochimaru already filled her in though. Her job was to be here with him to make sure that nothing nefarious was going on regarding her lord. And she was going to make sure that her lord is safe no matter what. Even if she had to kill this guy. He had seals set up all over that brought him to this island. As she saw the Russian shores. This was a good hideout. Someone would have to take a boat to get here without those seals. Well then, Gurin-san, my lovely friend here will escort you to the location where you'll be staying for the foreseeable future. And I do hope that you enjoy. Gurin spun around rather quickly. What the hell? She barely sensed that person. She didn't know who the hell was under that mask, but the person in the man just snuck up behind her. They were rather skilled, she could tell. Hey, where are you going? She asks. I apologize, but I have to make a quick detour. To where? She asks. I'm sorry, but I was not told that information. What do you mean you weren't? Poof! He was gone in smoke. What the hell? Was I talking to a clone this entire time? Orochimaru-sama told her to keep an eye on him. And yet he just fooled her. So quickly. She couldn't let her master know about this. He would be severely disappointed in her lack of awareness. Hey you, where did he go? The person turned towards her. There was no attributes, so most likely it was a male. I'm afraid I don't know that information. But if you would. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me where he's gone, said Gurin. The person turned towards her and remained quiet. Are you listening? Yes. But you said you won't move, so I will stay with you. Huh? Gurin was confused. Aren't you gonna force me to go in? She asks. Of course not. My master told me to treat you with the utmost respect. You are his honorable guest after all. Once again Gurin doubted which side he was on. Orochimaru told her to make an evaluation for herself and come back with the reports. Yet once again she wondered. However, things were not looking as bad as she thought. She released a sigh. Fine. But you are to inform me the moment he come back. He won't be doing that again. The person simply nodded. If you may. As she was led away. Meanwhile, Kumo, despite not having bloodlines, despite not having several things that the other nations had, after all, out of all the 5 great nations, Kumo had the most population, the most shinobis out of all the great nations, yet they were not that strong. Because their ninjas were not spectacular. Nothing compared to Konoha with the likes of the Yellow Flash, the White Fang, the Copy Ninja Kakashi. Those men made a name for themselves, but Kumo didn't have those ninjas except for the third, Raikage, a man that was said to go toe-to-toe with the Tail Beast. And the both of them fell at the same time. Now that was an impressive feat. However, they did have something that the other nations did not do. The tools of the Sage of the Sixth Path. The Gold and Silver brothers. 2 nefarious ninjas who had went toe-to-toe with the Kyuubi. Well, not really, but he did swallow them. However, something remarkable happened. They survived by eating his insides. They were a special kind of people though, because they were distantly related to the sage himself. The bloodline traveled because only his blood can use his tool. Special people, it said. However, that was up for interpretation. At the moment, Naruto stood in a rather high cliff. One of the highest within Kumo. Well, not exactly in the village. The fox had informed him that the landscape was a lot different back then. And the sage had lived on this mountain. However, back then it was different. Things changed in over thousands of years after all. No wonder why Kumo had all of the sage artifacts because, well, he used to live here. However, there was something that he kept rather secretive to himself. And that was his whereabouts. That was not supposed to be leaked, and several other dangerous artifacts. Naruto was sure that other Kumo ninjas had been here before. After all, they had to have explored their own place, right? So why wasn't it never found? He had to make sure he himself was discreet. He had to make sure there was no Kumo ninjas around, as he couldn't allow for them to find him right here and now. Well, he would have to kill all of them, but still, he wasn't here to fight. He was here to take what would change his life forever, even more than before. Arriving toward the small, cropping out, Naruto placed his hand. As he searched, the tailed beasts had been here when they were younger, when they were much more smaller, larger than him but still smaller. As the fox had gave him off a memory from where Naruto pushed his hand in the wall. As a trigger, the wall to cave in. As a grin came on his face. After all, if his sons and daughters want to pay his corpse a visit, he will be happy for that to happen. The sage was a kind, respectable man after all. However, they could take from the top, but that would be a long journey down. And Naruto was sure that Kumo ninjas gave up when they tried to reach the base of the mountain, when they didn't find anything important. But however, he was a different species of person. He would not just give up because it was a long journey. As Naruto stepped inside, he slowly started to walk in a dark cavern. He used his senses as he did not trigger off anything by using his chakra. As he walked, he came to a stop. Maybe there was nothing down here. It was just a waste of time to be going down here. It was just a long, dark place. He turned his back and started to walk away. He would just go back to the island. He had much more important things to... Naruto's body, defensive mode activated. As his two arms got slashed from the inside, blood started to pour down his arms, dripping on the ground as Naruto came to a stop right at the edge. What the hell? He turned his back. He stepped forward once again, silently. And once again he walked back to the edge. His arm cut itself once again, stopping him. Remarkable, Naruto thought to himself. Now he see why there was no one that ever came down here before and found the sage's body. There was some sort of sealing genjutsu over the entire area that made you want to go back the deeper you go. If it wasn't for his body being in defensive mode, he would have walked straight back and head back to the island without even noticing. Because once the genjutsu take root, it was able to completely rewrite even a person's chakra system. However, the tail beasts were masters of chakra, so it wouldn't affect them. The sage was truly someone impressive, and he earned his reputation just by this alone. As Naruto reached and pulled down his shirt, he went through hand sign as he tapped his hand on his chest. The seal on his chest burned away as the fox chakra started to be channeled through his body. Along that with his defensive mode, Naruto walked. It fight off the genjutsu, which was incredibly hard until he arrived. He saw the seal. As he studied the thing as fast as possible before he went on to try and disarm it. However, it wasn't as easy as he thought. The sage seal was not like anything he's ever seen before. He had to stood there and break it down. By the time he was finished, it seemed like his time didn't really make sense anymore. As he checked the time, he's been standing here for the past 4 hours breaking this. But to him it felt like minutes. This cake can truly screw with your mind. However, it took him 4 hours just to break a simple seal. How long would it take him to break the seal that contained the sage body? As he continued to walk, there must be something powering it. After all these years, he had to have some sort of artifact, something to keep it empowered. But it seemed like even the sage knew that one day, someone would eventually find this place. However, why keep the things if you know they would be that dangerous? Perhaps just to preserve his history. Yes, that must be it. As Naruto arrived, he came to a stop. The place was barren. He could see a few feet ahead of him. There was some sort of tomb. However, he could also sense danger if he took another step. Before he could even move, a hologram of sorts, Naruto noticed a gem. A gem toward the ceiling projected the hologram. He wasn't so sure about the power source. However, the gem did project the hologram in front of him. As the thing flickered in and out, it seemed to be the first time someone was seeing this. Well, someone other than the sage and the tail beasts. It was then that the gem produced another light that washed over him. His body sensed it to be no harm. However, it did. Roam around in his chakra. How the hell did it do that? Hello there. Naruto froze as he saw a man. He had dark grey hair, a circle in his forehead, the eyes, those majestic renegades looking down at him. The man sat cross-legged in mid-air. His body was covered by a white cloak with megatama markings, black balls floating underneath him, a staff, a shakijo to be exact, on his back. I presume somehow you have found out the history. To come this far, despite all the precautions I set, should be enough to keep out any normal human. However, it seems like you're not normal. And I can tell, there's evil in your heart. A lot of it. The scan Naruto thought to himself. So much so that I can't allow you to pass this point. I'll give you 10 seconds to evacuate this place. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll have to take precautions. Someone like you can never be allowed to achieve these secrets. Naruto's eyes widened, so the sage wanted someone good to find this place, to inherit his power. Well, perhaps to be the next protector of mankind. But still, if anyone's gonna get it, it will be him. As Naruto realized the thing was counting down, he prepared himself to move. Once the thing reached 1, his legs completely stopped. What the hell? The room turned blue. His legs literally stopped moving. As his body felt petrified, he couldn't move. However, his body defensive mode was still activated. And it was a good thing because his body moved to the side. Naruto bit his teeth as his right arm was completely torn off by a wave of chakra that came from that damn crystal. The beam was aiming directly for his heart. If it wasn't for his body moving, he would have been dead. However, he still couldn't control his movements. As Naruto started to see the thing generating another blast, luckily, he made precautions just in case for this, as he would never be trapped. If ever his body was ever held against his own will, it would just take a few seconds. Few seconds were still long, because he could have been dead already. However, the seal on his chest activated. Immediately there was a poof. One of his dog abominations emerged. This one was completely red as it opened its mouth. Red flames exploded from it, clashing with the beam of chakra. However, the beam was seemingly empowering itself. As the seconds ticked by, Naruto had to think of something else. He had to move. As he realized he could bite the inside of his mouth, as Naruto bit down hard. However, what came out next was not blood or saliva. It was acid, a severe deadly toxin that started drip, 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 drip. His abomination got torn through, but at the last second the ground underneath Naruto broke. It was able to restrain but not hold up. The acid ate right through it, causing him to fall. Naruto bit down on the destroyed stone platform. His body still felt out of sorts, despite that thing no longer holding on to him. However, what he saw down there, well, that was certain death. Down below was an abyss of darkness that he could not see the end of. Falling down there would definitely mean his death, he could just tell. However, the thing was generating another blast. Naruto looked towards his limb. As it started to shake before, another hand shoot out. The regeneration ability was a truly important one, and wonderful right now because his arm was completely unaffected. He threw himself as he grabbed on with the arm and pulled himself up. The beam blasted through as Naruto pulled himself back with the arm. It nicked his leg and caused him to fall, but He pulled himself out of a line of fire. It was then that the entrance started to close. His eyes widened as nozzles on the wall seemed to open up. What the hell? He felt the heat. Fire erupted from them, but at the very last second he felt movement in his leg once again. The place was scorched. The sage really didn't want someone like him to get these things after all. The place was burned beyond recognition. Naruto Byakugan flared to life as he scanned the area. That is when he saw it, an orb. He smiled to himself, now knowing what was using to power the energy. Something that he hadn't gotten around to test or intertwine himself with yet. Natural energy was being sucked from the surroundings. To think that someone could create an orb of pure, condensed raw power that could generate natural energy for years upon years upon years. As Naruto's mouth literally started to water, the things he could do with that orb, he just needed to tweak it to be able to gather nature energy. As Naruto smiled to himself, it was then that more nozzles opened up on the wall. The entire place was met with fire, as inside was turned into a blackened scorch. The ground seemed to fix itself back, a preservement seal as Naruto leaped and dodged. His two arms got sliced off in the process and burned. It was a rather gruesome sight when his right leg was taken off as well. If he was any other person, they would have surely died a long time ago. But Naruto wasn't any normal person. As he realized, he gripped onto the seal on his stomach and turned it, allowing the fox chakra to pour out. The moment the fox chakra came in contact with the mechanics, they froze up just for a second, assimilating whether this was truly the nine-tailed fox or a host. After all, the fox was a sage son. He wouldn't want to hurt his own son now. As Naruto used the opportunity to leap, at the last moment though, it seems like it recognized that it was a source, because Naruto chakra was mixed in it. As Naruto reached out, a massive spike dropped from the ceiling and ripped into his back. No time to move, the thing pinged him to the ground. As Naruto's body lay there, the nozzles all went down though, as the gem stopped glowing. Because in Naruto's palm was the glowing ball that was generating nature energy. As Naruto smiled before he slowly and gruesomely picked himself up off the spike, skin and bones tearing apart. But yet he was undisturbed. His flesh started to mend back together. It would take more than that to kill him. Not even decapitation could kill him that easily. He had made sure of that. But of course he could still die, by some rather nasty means. There were still people out there that could dominate him in a fight. But soon, as Naruto looked towards the orb, the sage could not put a seal around this because it would interfere in the nature energy gathering. But how the hell does this even work? How was he able to use this to gather natural energy? Naruto stored it away though. He would tinker with it the next time, as he made his way towards the tomb, only to be disappointed. This, however, was safeguarded by tons of seals that he hadn't even seen before, and he noticed the safe mechanism in them. One mistake and well, things would go chaotic. He's gonna need time. However, he noticed the sage tomb, and it wasn't just his tomb right there were several other objects all around the room. His treasures. Naruto's eyes widened. It seems that the sage had created more artifacts that not even the people of Kumo knew about. As he wondered, what did they do? The grin on his face was a wicked, cruel one, as he stood there in glee. However, it's gonna take some time. Weeks, months, a year. It's gonna take a while for him to break these. Time skip. Sorry it took me so long. As Naruto stepped in, Gurin was just sitting there, having some conversations while she was trying to understand more about this individual out of his pawn. However, he wouldn't give her anything. "Where have you been?" said Gurin, as Naruto chuckled. "What's so funny? You questioned me like that. It's almost like we're a married couple, and you're the wife." "It's nothing like that," said Gurin. "I'm hurt. Is the thought of being married to me repulse you that much?" "You're not my type," she said. Figures. You're not mine either. You're a bit too loud. And you have little to no asset. I mean, look at that chest. It's really flat. What did you just say? Asked Naruto merely laughed. It's rather easy to get you riled up. I thought you'd have been more level-headed than this, after all. Orochimaru praised you so much. Wait, he praised you while I'm not there? Yes. He told me how wonderful you are. You love him, don't you, Gurin? What? She said. No, not like that, said Naruto. But you admire him. You would give your very life for him, won't you? That is a kind of love as well. And so what? She said. What if I were to tell you that I'm gonna kill him? Gurin's eyes turned murderous as she slammed Naruto in the wall. A crystal formed in her hand within seconds as she pressed it against his throat. Don't you ever say something like that around me. Or ever. I'll kill you, she said. But Naruto did not even budge, he just looked into her eyes. And that is why I know that you and I will get along just great. This loyalty that you have. This is the kind of people I want on my side. So much loyalty, so much so I respect you even more. You're truly something, Gurin. No wonder why Orochimaru think of you that much. You were testing me. Of course. I mean, I had to see where you stand. You're testing my loyalty? I should be doing that to you. Shit. What did she just say? As Naruto merely smiled. You don't have to worry. It's quite alright, he said. But you've proven yourself to me, Gurin. Now I suppose you want to know what I'm gonna do. I have a lot of work to do. I hope you're not squeamish. I've been around Orochimaru for the better part of my life. I'm not squeamish about anything, she said. Good, said Naruto. Time skip. With the real Naruto. While that was a version of him, that wasn't real Naruto. Just like what he did to trick Tsunade. However, the real Naruto stood in front of Uncle. She refused to look at him. The silent treatment, huh? As he had a tray in his hand. Brought you some food. You must be starving. She didn't say anything and her stomach rumbled. Uncle cursed, damn it. She didn't want to show that she needed anything from him. However, as he stepped in, she did not attack him, though she just sat down. Knowing that attacking him would be pointless. Judging from the last time, he placed a tray on the bed and opened it. There was a lot of food there. However, there was nothing that she really liked. But she wouldn't let him know anything. Well, Uncle, enjoy. As he got up and started to walk away. Before he started to chuckle. Come on now. Did you really think I'll forget the dessert? Once he turned back around, there was a box in his hand. As he opened the show, a bunch of dango as he placed it down beside the food. Now eat up, he said, you're gonna need your strength. After all, if you're gonna be working for me, I need you in a tip-top condition. Uncle glared at him as he left. She knew that she had to eat. He brought her juice and water. She had to eat. He wouldn't poison her. After all, what would be the point of that? And he promised that he wouldn't run any experiments on her. As she sniffed the food, she didn't smell anything in there. But she had to eat. If she let herself get weak and tired, when the time came for her to escape, she would not. So she grabbed a stick of the dango and started to munch down. But she would never work for him. Never. She would always be loyal. However, as she was thinking that, there was a small part of her mind that just didn't go along with it. Time skip. A few weeks passed. Uncle sat there in her cell. He came by every time, lunch and dinner. He didn't give her breakfast because he always gave her a big dinner. He came by lunch and dinner. He always had something for her. In the morning, he gave her tea, something to drink. He always brought her favorite food. To making sure that she was comfortable, he brought her books. As the time went by, Uncle still refused to be loyal to him. However, she did talk to him. Because he wasn't here to hurt her. He just wanted to talk. Those weeks turned into months. As Uncle found herself talking to him even more. But she was still loyal to the hidden leaf. But a part of her mind was wondering why. Why was she loyal anymore? He kept on bringing up the conversation of people not caring about her death. After all, you barely heard anyone saying that she was missing. And they couldn't even find her body, and yet, no one really seemed to care. He could just be lying, however. She felt like they would be glad if she was gone. After all, she was Uncle, aka the Snake Whore. But still, she would not break her loyalty. However, as the time went by, there was a part of her mind that kept on telling her that she should... Well, damn it. She had to be focused. She couldn't let herself be drawn in. Meanwhile, with Gurin, as the time went by, her trust for him started to increase. So far, he had sent reports to Orochimaru, which she had hand-delivered. The Sound Four had made their way towards the location, where she had given them the report, most to take away. None of the Sound Four members had come on this island, not even once. So they didn't know anything, they just met up at where the sail was located a few yards away from it. However, as the time went by, the things that he was doing, some things he wanted to help Lord Orochimaru. Not to mention, she let it slip about Yukimaru, something that she never wanted to let him know. And now we found herself in a weird position. Well, wait, you saying it's okay if I bring him here? Of course, I mean he's your friend. After all, as you can see, I don't really have that much friends. And what about your drones, she said, as she glanced towards the large man at the wall. They're not really my friends, per se. They're my comrades. If you can say it like that. Well, comrades that respect me to no end. Yukimaru is the same for you, I guess. You care about him? No, he's just someone I know. Ah, I see, said Naruto. You see what? You don't want me to find out that you are not as hard as you let on. What the hell are you talking about? It's okay to have a soft spot, you know that, right? If he's a good kid, I don't see the problem. And you and I both know that. Kabuto is not a nice guy. She narrowed her gaze at that. If there was one person she hated the most, it was Kabuto, because he was Orochimaru's second hand, which she wanted to be, and not to mention he always wanted to use Yukimaru. I can make sure he comes here after my little next chat with Orochimaru, and there wouldn't be a problem for him to stay here. I'm sure Orochimaru would be a-okay with it. Wait, really? Why? She asked. Do you think that by doing this for me, I'll owe you or something? Gurin, you've been here for a few months now. As much as you hate to say it, you've become a friend of mine. And I'm glad for the friendship, he said. So, if you want to have Yukimaru here, I want nothing in return, as he walked away, leaving Gurin there to question herself. Did he really just mean that, she thought. Later that night, once again he brought her dinner. However, something strange happened. It has been a few months now, and he has been speaking to Uncle every single time. But this time something that never happened before happened. He fell asleep. Because he had his own and he ate with her. There wasn't any of his guards watching. He was inside and he was asleep. He had merely rested his head against the wall and he just fell asleep. It was then that Uncle noticed his pouch. She slowly made her way towards him. Despite not having her chakra, she could still stab. She pulled the kunai out of his pouch. As Uncle took deep, longing breaths. This was her chance. After months. How much was it again? 6 months, yeah. It has been 6 months of being here with him. 6 months of him letting her out when he feel like. For her to walk and keep her mobility. But this was her chance. She could end his life. She could kill him. As Uncle raised the kunai above her head, she was gonna do it. She was gonna end this once and for all. But guys, be instant right here. If you want the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below. Turn on that bell notification, stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, Take care on for the rest of what is coming your way, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon, peace.